research shows, and I think we don't even need research to tell us, right?
Not really.
Because really your happiness, your contentedness with life,
yes,
depends to a huge degree on how resilient you are as a person, how rapidly you recover from adversity.
Yes.
And, we all have it, right? We all have setbacks and things that happen to us, challenges in life, right?
Right. So you mean like when you wake up in the morning, how to bounce back, how to get in a positive mindset.
Right. How to get your brain geared at thinking more positively about your life, about your day, about where you're going with things. We all have things that happen.
Right.
You'll maybe experience a divorce or a health concern, or you lose a job.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff happens.
So what type of stuff, like for me, resilient means being able to bounce back,
Mm-hmm.
being able to get over it.
Yep.
So what does that have to do with being happy in your mind?
Well, what it has to do with, Haywood, is that usually we don't know how to handle the adversity. We don't have the tools. So a lot of times we find ourselves, we nurse it.
Mm-hmm.
We nurse it, we curse it, we rehearse it.
Yes.
Over and over and over again. We replay the scenario in our head, we worry about it, we stress about it, we agonize about it, we beat ourselves up over it, we beat
so we
others
nurse
up
it,
over it,
we nurse it,
we curse it,
we curse it,
and we rehearse it.
and we rehearse it.
So we build for ourselves a story.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So have you noticed where this is something that you can see that you've done in the past?
Definitely. So like what you focus on, what you give energy to, what you think about, you'll give energy to or becomes true. So if I'm thinking about it, like my problems are soaking in pity, then I create more ways and more pathways for soaking in pity. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it's exactly what I mean. And, usually we get stuck then.
Yeah.
And we're kind of stuck in the cycle of, replaying and rehearsing over and over again this scenario that happened to us.
Yeah.
And we don't know how to get ourselves out of it. And ultimately then it becomes a story.
And I just want to say, Tracy, I wanted to say hi. We're doing this Periscope
I know,
thing.
and I didn't even notice you had it there.
We have Dennis on, and we have Superstar Rapper on with us. Thank you guys for being on with Tracy and Haywood and the Happiness Untrapped. What are we doing today? The Happiness, which one is this?
Being resilient.
Being resilient in the Wednesday
resilient.
Hump Day, Happiness Hump Day call.
Yeah. So really once we're faced with this challenge,
Mm-hmm.
this lesson, if you want to call it, this adversity that's happened to us, really what we need is a comeback.
Yes.
Okay, we need to...
So once you've fallen off the freaking horse and you're feeling a little stress and, I'm so stupid, I'm so dumb, how did I make that mistake? What am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a solution for us to bounce out of that.
We need a comeback.
A comeback.
Yep. So a comeback's...
A bounce back, comeback.
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 It's not a go back.
Okay, not a go back.
So we're not going back, and we're not trying to replay in our head how we could have done it different, should have done it different, would have done it different, had we known this, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
We've all done that. We've all been there, right?
Yes.
So it's really acceptance. It's accepting that what happened, and here I am now.
Yes.
And what am I going to do about it now? So it's really, we talk a lot about being in the present, right? Not living in the past, not living in the future. It hasn't happened yet.
But being present with what's going on right now.
So it's acknowledging it happened. It's not saying you liked that it happened,
right?
Necessarily. Although we've talked about that too. We can be grateful for the challenges and the lessons.
I'll tell you something silly that I do. I become really thankful, appreciative, and grateful of it. So we use tag on our calls often, almost all the time. But I also use tag when I identify a challenge. And I do it under the mindset that there are no voids on the face of the planet. So that I need to get this out or to transmute it and to upgrade it into something else. So I'll say, I'm so thankful for you, anxiety over tonight's board meeting. I appreciate you being here and holding space for me letting me know that there's more good that I could have in my life and that I'm not quite where I thought I was. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful for you allowing me to replace you with ease and for something that serves me better. And I'm so grateful for you understanding and being here for me. And so that I really get a chance to look at the problem,
right,
and to have some awareness of it and then to replace it.
Right, because really what we resist exists.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So if we pretend that it's not there, if we don't deal with it, it's something that's going to most likely continue to repeat and continue to be there and present in our lives.
And from our Periscope family, superstar rapper said that he usually is even thankful for the negative stuff.
Right.
Just that it happened and to be aware of it.
Right, and that, is something that can be challenging for us to a place to get to. It takes practice, I think, to be able to get to a place where you can actually be grateful for the challenge and the lesson. But right. I think that's ultimately an awesome place to be.
Oh, that was Dennis who said that. Thanks, Dennis. Sorry I missed that. So Dennis is the person that also mm-hmm. agrees that kind of being aware of mm-hmm. that negative and being thankful that it was there.
Yeah. So Haywood, would you agree that we are always in a state of recovery and discovery, that we're always a work in progress? I don't know about you, but kind of when I started more on what I'll call my spiritual journey, mm-hmm. I thought there was going to be an end point, kind of. I mean, we're always looking for the end point, right? It's like there's going to be a point in time where I'm going to know it all, and I'm going to have conquered it and accomplished it, and life's just going to be smooth sailing and easy, and I won't have any more challenges.
Well, I think we all look for that place, but it's been, man, how do we do this? When I write the book, I'm going to tell you it started at childhood. Being aware that I wanted to choose to try to see the more positive things in life. Didn't always, but it seemed to have been an agenda to find the positive twist and then to help people feel good. So I do agree, but I've come to terms with the idea that it's about vibration.
Sure.
And just feeling a little better every day. And that serves my body, my mind, and my spirit. That from a spiritual standpoint, I can help change and move the planet as I upgrade and do those type of things. I'm going to hand you this. As I update and do those type of things, that I change my spirit. And then in my mind, the more I learn to be thankful and appreciative and resilient, it improves the way I think, and I'm able to think faster and get back on track.
Right.
And in my body, the better I eat and the less, these stresses and the more forgiving I can be, then the faster it comes. So to answer your question, yes, mm-hmm. but I've come to terms with it as something that's all about raising vibration. Yep. For instance, I think we talked about in meditation last night that it's getting to the point where in the morning I can almost just wake up on this good parachute. And it's not this, what do I have to worry about? Is it cold? What jacket?
Right.
But and every morning I try to work on reframing anything that made me feel down, to lower my vibration, mm-hmm. and to raise it.
So that's your resiliency.
That's my resiliency.
Right. So it's not that you're not going to still maybe be faced with learning opportunities and lessons or challenges, but you're able to quickly assimilate them and acknowledge them and trade them out for something better.
Because I just always want to be happy, guys. How about you? I just want to be happy. So just being happy all the time, and whenever I don't feel happy, then I do a self-check. Like, what could be better? I think you taught me that one. What could be better?
Yeah.
And to look for what can be better in that day. And when I'm not feeling happy, to use being happy and having a high vibration as the guide.
Mm-hmm. So really how quickly you can course correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Course correction.
So
a lot of times people don't understand that happiness is a choice. It's something that you choose.
Definitely. Happiness is a continual choice that we have to make. And, like Haywood said, when you wake up every morning, you can wake up already being in a happy place.
Right.
But, a lot of times then as your day progresses forward, or even in that moment in time, you need to make that choice.
Right.
And how do I want to be right now? Feel good now is a term Haywood likes to use a lot, which I love because it sticks in my head. What choice do I want to make right now? And it's to feel good. And
one of our Periscope followers was, I think it was Wheelchair, that said, I just found out why you're not feeling good. Sorry, I'm throwing that camera around on you all, but we're going to work that out. But why aren't you feeling good? And to really take a moment to look at that. And what I've found, I'm not sure about you guys. I'm trying to keep an eye on the screen too. I'm not sure about you guys, but one of the reasons I've found that this happens is when I'm not really authentic with myself. That I showed up, I woke up in the morning, decided, because I'm black, I'm probably going to have a hard day today. And then I start having a hard day. If I wake up in the morning and say I'm an intelligent male that has goals and ambitions and the desire to see the world healthy and happy, and I walk out with that persona on, with that phone number, then it's easier to be happy just by being authentic with who I am.
Yeah, and Haywood, you just covered some really big points. You talked about law of attraction. You've talked about affirmations. You've talked about the story that you tell yourself.
Right.
There was one other one that I can't pull out right now, but those are things that I know personally I'd like to expand on even more in future calls with our listeners, is more about the law of attraction and more about affirmations and more about the stories that we tell ourselves. So we'll look forward to sharing a lot more meat and detail on
I think Superstar agrees with that one too, right? So one other way you said being resilient is my affirmation. So every morning, every Tuesday morning, I've gotten good at doing a Periscope. That's a laughter meditation. So, and those are some of my greatest, highest, funnest feeling times, to come on with a laughter meditation. So remembering, if I don't feel good now. So I have a feel good now chant, Florenzo. Wendy, is feel good now. How can I feel good? And we do whatever it takes to feel good, whether it's a laughter meditation or own meditation or just going into gratitude. But this kind of fear of not having good. If there's anything I fear, is not having good inside my heart.
Right. And, these things show up usually to be healed, right?
Yep.
They show up to be healed. So we also need to pay attention to the assignment.
Yes.
Right? We need to recognize that there's something there for us to take out of the experience. Pay attention to what the message, what the assignment is for us, and then do the work.
Yes.
Do the work that's necessary to heal it.
Yeah.
And we talked about forgiveness last week, and I think a lot of times what needs to happen as part of that healing process centers on forgiveness. Whether that's, once again, forgiving ourselves or forgiving others or asking.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for the healthy food, Michelle.
We made it. Cora and I made it.
It looks delicious.
Thank you. It does look delicious. It's an awesome plate.
The Secret is a great documentary to watch. I agree. I love that movie and the book, The Secret.
Yeah, I do too. There are so many awesome tidbits to take away from that book, and the book being mostly about the law of attraction. So Haywood, you mentioned some quick ones. Maybe you could talk to us a little bit more about kind of your tips for being resilient. You mentioned replacing, sacrifice and replace. I know you've talked about switch words in the past.
Switch words. Yeah, switch words are a big one. And I will, I can post it on the page. I think it's blueiris.org.
That sounds right, yeah.
Sounds about right. Man, switch words, when I was introduced to that idea. So switch words are anytime you find, words like you buy your favorite jewels, Florenzo or Wendy, or like you buy, switch words are designed to, if you have a thought that, oh no, today is okay, to literally set it up so that today is great. And to say, today is awesome. Or today is a little better than great. It's awesome. It's amazing. One of the favorite switch words I'm using right now is excellent, which implies it's always excelling. It's excellent. How are you today? Excellent. Versus perfect, that's not quite true, because I know I'm not perfect. But I'm excelling and I'm getting better. So to use the word excellent or fantastic, stupendous, to use words that make you really feel good, with the whole idea being for your brain to think this word and then to instigate your heart to have that feeling of what that word means to you. So using switch words versus, yeah, I'm doing okay. I can't wait to see you, honey. I'm excited. I'm so excited, honey, to see you. I'm I'm flabbergasted that you're here, and I'm so excited. And you use switch words to raise your vibration.
Yep.
And then for a while it feels artificial, but after a while it feels like the only way to talk.
It's really amazing how quick you can go from it feeling artificial and not authentic to it really settling with you and shifting you internally. And Haywood, we talked on our first call about the science of happiness, and really it's important that we hold in our brains and savor positive messages like that, whether it be an affirmation or a switch word, or we talked about gratitude, but really savoring and holding those things in our brains for several moments at a time, several times throughout the day, to really keep our brains in a positive mindset and really kind of shifting our brain to what we call a positive bias, so to speak.
And there seems to be some math around that. I've heard 17 seconds and 62 seconds, but that as we have these thoughts, they can then manifest into things. So holding this good intention and feeling for 62 seconds or 68 seconds seems to allow your brain to start to create this physical place of allowing this to come about. So Lorenzo and everybody on the call, welcome Tony, Chucks, everybody on the call, it seems to be worthwhile to have a positive thought, but to hold that positive thought for, I've heard, what have you heard, Tracy?
Yeah, I've heard that you need to do it for at least 10 seconds several times a day.
Yes.
But, there's all these kind of varying time frames out there, but I think the important thing is to really hold it and to feel it in your heart.
Yes.
To really, replay the positive feelings until you really are savoring them, and do that as many times throughout your day as you can. Whenever something good happens, whenever there's a positive thing happen, sit back and savor it for several seconds and hold it there.
So you're on with happiness coach Tracy Trader and positive outcome coach Haywood Simmons. We have a few minutes left. Should we open it up for a question if there is one?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because I'm sure you have more to say if not.
That's okay. I'll say more if there are no questions, but we'd love to hear from the listeners and if there's anything we can do to answer questions.
Wendy,
Really helpful stuff. This is Wendy. Years ago I was taught a technique. I think it's Buddhist in its origins, but when you're stressing out, you're unhappy, you also have to think about your face, your expression. So take 3, deep breaths in and breathe out through your mouth, and after the 3rd breath, smile.
Yes.
Yeah.
And allow yourself to smile, which is kind of like holding the positive thought, because that's, it's an expression in your face, and that can actually help get to that, raise your vibration, change your whole sense of where you're at.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, Wendy. Thank you for sharing that with the rest of us. There's a lot behind the smile, the breathing, even how you carry yourself.
Yeah.
And, if you walk around with your shoulders back and your head held high, just the posture itself will shift internally your mindset to one of more of a positive, successful, happy outlook. And the smile, it does the same thing. So thank you for sharing that with us.
And I really think too, in the vibration world, that when we smile, our heart feels better. And in the Art of War, he talked about getting to the higher ground. And once we are, and Louise Hay talks about high flying disc. Once we're on that high flying disc, it's a lot easier to see life. And I don't know what we're talking about next week, Tracy or Wendy, but maybe fear is coming up somewhere. Yeah. But that fear of not having our happiness seems to be at the root of all this stuff. Maybe ignorance that then makes me afraid because I don't know how I'm going to have the happiness. I don't know how to do it. And then, after the happiness thing, then it's the fear. If I can't find it, I don't know where to find it. And then next it brings out fear that takes away from my vibration and ability to So we got to find out where this fear is disguising itself and what it's based off of, and then go back and heal it, I think.
Yeah, fear is a huge one, and I would love to devote some time in one of our future calls to fear. You know, we tend to operate on an old model, and the old model that we use in companies, in our parenting style, in our schools, is one that typically revolves around, I'll work hard, and then I'll succeed, and then I'll be happy.
Yes.
And then I'll work hard, and I'll succeed, and I'll be happy. And it's chasing a moving target. All right, and it's backwards.
Yes.
Once you get that job, then you always need a better job. Once you meet that sales target, then there's always a bigger sales target. And it's always a moving target, and happiness really is then not attainable if we tie it to a moving target, right? So the old model that I think most of us were raised with, work hard,
as we wrap it up, we're battling. Let's see who gets the last word in here today. Is that maybe it's, one subject, one line I've heard is be, do, have, and I would like to make a commitment to end myself. The last word being to let's stop acting positive and start feeling positive. And to me, when I got that was a big deal. I'm acting good, I acted positive, I brought a positive attitude, but to be, do, have, and to feel positive, to be committed to it, to have an intention, and to be positive.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, we made it, Tracy. It's 1:00.
It is. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I hope to have you on with us again next week.
Hope to see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.